Report presented by BCWSA, a weekly recap of your Philadelphia Eagles and news around the NFL. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's, tonight's show is brought to you by Rob's Automotive and Collision, BCWSA, Chickies and Pete's, Allstate Fairless Hills Tom LaCroix, Penworth Financial Services, Penn Community Bank, Capital Grill, Ventresca's LTD, Independence Blue Cross, and SEPTA. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. Great to have you with us. We are at Chickies and Pete's in the Parks Casino. Merrill Reese and Bob Grotz, and we have a very, very special guest. He is a great friend. He's one of my favorite Eagles players of all time, and he's become a wonderful radio broadcaster, first in Atlanta, now back here, where he stars during the midday period on WIP with his co-host Joe Giglio, and just does a wonderful job. Hugh Douglas, I am one of your most constant listeners. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Merrill. Appreciate you. How's everybody doing tonight? How y'all doing?
We're doing well. You sound like you're having fun doing the midday show.
I am. You know, Joe Giglio, they couldn't have partnered me with a better person, man. I like hanging out with Joe. Joe does a great job, but when I go off the rails, he comes with me and he brings it right back. So yeah, I'm having fun with Joe.
But you know, you don't really go off the rails the way people expected you to go off the rails, because you.
Well, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
I think I kind of reined it in a little bit.
Because you have always been outspoken. You've always spoken from the heart as well as the head, and there's a tendency when you get so wrapped up that you can pass the legal parts of being on the radio.
Yeah, but I'm legit. I got street cred. I got a little bit of street cred.
You have a lot of street cred.
I mean, I think that's important because a lot of times it's tough being a fan, you know, and especially of this team. This is a passionate fan base, and a lot of times, you know, we say things that tend to make people a little bit upset, but we're coming from a place of, you know, being a part of it, being in it, and just trying to give you the honest opinion of what we think is going on at all times.
People know that you're on between the hours of 10 and 2, but how much preparation goes into that show? What time do you show up at the station?
Well, we show up at 9 o'clock, and I think, like, people don't realize that even when we're off the air, like even now, like we're always doing show prep. And I know Joe, like we were talking about it today, when you go home and you see different stories that are happening, you know, when you see what's going on with the Sixers and things like that, you try to formulate an opinion on potentially whatever's going on. Like, you know, now it's the Joel Embiid story. So, you know, you have to have an opinion about that or what you think is going to happen with that. And just try to figure out a way where Joe might go and just make sure that I have an opinion about something. Because that's basically what it is. I look at it like this, and this is how I look at my job. We're sitting around here at the bar just like everybody else is talking sports. The only difference is we have a microphone that most people can hear our conversation as opposed to sitting at the bar and saying what you're saying. We just got to take the cuss words out.
Well, when you became a sports talk host, and you did that in Atlanta, right? For how long?
Oh, I was in Atlanta for like eight seasons.
Wow.
It was a long time. Had fun in Atlanta, man. Shout out to all the people that are in Atlanta if they're listening. It was fun. It was fun. Sports is a little different there. I mean, it's still a passionate fan base, but it's nothing like being in Philadelphia.
Did you have to learn a sport? I mean, I am all football right now, so I'm in doing the Eagles, but I don't do the Phillies. I don't do sports.
You forgot about golf.
Well, I love golf. Golf is my passion.
Golf all the time.
But that's just a hobby. But if I had to sit down and do a sports talk show tomorrow on your station, I could talk about the Eagles forever. Mm-hmm. I could talk about the Phillies because every night in the summer I sit down on the easy chair in my family room and I watch the Phillies. I love the Phillies. Mm-hmm. But I'm a very casual fan of the other sports. Basketball more than hockey. I grew up at a time when there was no hockey in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Then there was a minor league team. Then came the Flyers. And if they're in the playoffs, I'm zeroed in. But if I were doing a sports talk show, I would have to really study hockey. Were you an all-sports guy in Atlanta?
You know, like, the thing that I probably had to pay attention to the most was NASCAR, which is not bad.
Not here.
Yeah, it's not hard because I like cars. And so,
yeah,
you know just learning the different drivers and things of that nature. But as far as, like, studying for anything, not so much studying, just making sure I have an opinion, because everything that I think that we do is story-based, and we try to build a story around the actual sporting event. So that's kind of easy. Just have an opinion. I think that's the biggest thing that you can have, and we all have those, whether you like it or not, people like them or not, we all have an opinion. And I think the biggest thing is just to whatever your opinion is, stick to it.
Speaking of stories, Hugh, it was 20 years ago.
20.
Yeah, 20 years ago when you were down in Jacksonville.
Yes.
Getting ready for the Patriots. You were down there. You had the week off before then, right? And then came down there. What was going on at this time of the week? I mean, we got the Super Bowl coming up. What was going on with you guys? And just, Andy Reid and
just
Donovan?
Being surreal. Just the surreal realization for me, especially, that was my last season playing in the NFL, and just reflecting on the career that I've had, and just putting it in perspective how I was blessed enough to even be in that game. And you think about all the great players that played before me that have never sniffed a playoff berth, have never played in a playoff game, let alone be in a Super Bowl. It was one of those. It was a very, very humbling experience for me to be in Jacksonville, especially coming back to Jacksonville after I had just gotten cut at the beginning of the season
by the Jaguars.
Yeah, so it was a little different for me, man, and it was fun, and just all the pop and pageantry that goes into that week of preparation for the Super Bowl. It was surreal.
And naturally, you used your knowledge of Jacksonville to take the guys out.
Oh,
right?
Definitely not that, man. Okay. Listen, I always, like, if you've ever been down south, it's like people when they think of Florida, they think of Miami. No, like Miami is its own place. Florida is like going back in a time machine in like 1967. And it's not good for black folks. That's basically what it was. So yeah, that's kind of. Yeah, Jacksonville's different. Yeah. Jacksonville's very, very different.
The thing I remember about that game is that you actually had a chance to win.
Yeah.
And a lot of blame was pointed at Donovan McNabb, and I thought Donovan McNabb did a lot of good things in that game.
Yeah.
And I think Donovan McNabb, to this day, if you were to say to me who is the greatest quarterback in modern Eagles history, I would say Donovan McNabb.
Oh, no question about that,
I would say that,
man.
too.
No question about that. Some of the things that Five was able to do. I remember when Five first came into the NFL, and I remember being in practice, and I remember Troy and Bobby and those guys just wanted to see what he was about. And I think that they helped make him a better quarterback. Now, was Donovan perfect? No. And did he have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with the city of Philadelphia? Yes, he did. But when you talk about on Sunday, he came to play on Sunday. And it wasn't always pretty, but he always came to play.
Now, if you say to me, what's your favorite memory of Hugh Douglas, it wasn't that game. My favorite memory of Hugh Douglas is when you played in a playoff game in Chicago against the Bears, and you whacked Jim Miller, their quarterback, and knocked him out of the game.
Every time I hear him on the air, I think of that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a fine.
I want to ask him that. I want to call in and ask him.
No, that's a fine memory. That was some fun times, man. That was. I remember that day like it was yesterday because it was very cold in Chicago.
It was freezing. Oh my gosh!
And I remember like the night before, there were a lot of Chicago Bears fans calling our room harassing us. And I blame Bobby Taylor for that. Bobby was the one that got that started because when he went out, we went out for warm-ups. And, like, there was an area where all the DBs would warm up. And I think that the Chicago Bears receivers were in their space. So they were warming up, and Bobby went over there and slapped the ball out of one of the Bears receivers' hand. Yeah. Wow. And he was like, I don't know what you're doing that for. You're not going to catch any passes there. And I just said, okay, Bobby, this is what we're doing.
Oh, wow.
And after that, it was personal at that point.
It was on.
So, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Here's a question to see if anyone of you come up with this answer. What unlikely target caught a touchdown pass from Donovan McNabb in that game?
Unlikely. See, I don't remember.
I don't either.
I don't remember.
Cecil Martin.
Cecil. I forgot about that. The running back.
The fullback.
Yeah,
Cecil Martin caught a touchdown pass from Donovan McNabb.
See, I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
See, I remember that game like it was yesterday.
Yeah, that was a fun
really
time,
do.
man. That was when Andy Reid was in his bag. That was the Andy Reid era.
Yeah.
That was when Coach was still trying to figure it out. And that was a great win for us, man, because it just seemed like all of a sudden, because when I first got here, we were 3-13?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Andy got here, and it just turned around rather quickly, and it just seemed like we were just on a roller coaster ride that whole time.
The Bears, that was a really good team.
Really, really good football team.
They had the bye, and did you ever talk to Jim Miller after that?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I have not. I haven't spoken to Jim Miller. Like, every now and then I hear people say comments that he said something or whatever, and I'm like, man, whatever. No, I haven't talked to him.
Why don't you call into his show?
And say what? Hey, Jim, it's me.
Yeah, it's Hugh.
It's Hugh Douglas.
That would be funny.
That does sound like something that I would do. But I'm trying to remove myself from all that.
You
That
can't do that.
hood stuff that I used to do back in the day, man. I'm trying to be a better person.
See,
man.
Gotta be you.
I gotta be a better person.
I still consider you one of the best moves that Harry Gamble ever made when he traded with the New York Jets to acquire you.
Is that right? Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
That was a great move.
Well, thank you.
Do you remember what he gave up?
I think it was a second round draft pick and a third or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was something like
And you fit in right away.
Yeah, it was fun. Like I'm not gonna lie. Initially, I didn't want to come to Philadelphia because I didn't know that much about it. But when I got here, it was like being at home in Ohio. You know, a Midwest feel. And the great part about it is it was like the middle point between D.C. and New York. So I could get whatever flavor that I wanted at that time. You know, if I wanted to hang out in the city, I could do that. Or if I just wanted to stay in Philadelphia, just be low key, I could do that too. Or hang out with the Amish. You know, I could go to Lancaster and just hang out with the Amish if I wanted to. Because there's a big Amish community in Ohio, so yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of Amish in Ohio.
He didn't watch the Amish Mafia on
No,
TV.
listen, I started watching that.
Series, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I watched the movie Witness.
You did?
Did you ever see Witness?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
That
was filmed here, right?
That was filmed here and in Lancaster.
We got a lot of Amish people
with
in
Harrison
Ohio.
Ford.
Yes.
Yeah. That
got a lot of Amish
was a
people
great
in Ohio.
movie.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. But now you brought up the Super Bowl and Andy Reid. What do you think has changed between Andy Reid then and Andy Reid now, who is one of the most considered probably the most elite coach in the National Football League?
I would say with everything, learning from the mistakes that you've made in the past. You look at the fact that you have Patrick Mahomes.
That helps.
The absolute best quarterback in the game. But Andy moved up to get him. And we were having this debate the other day where, what came first, the chicken or the egg, because everybody say, oh, anybody can win with Patrick Mahomes. That's almost like discrediting what teachers do for star pupils. You know what I mean? Because, you can have all the talent in the world, but you have to have somebody there that's going to cultivate that and teach you what you don't know. You always hear teachers talk about bright minds and young minds, and for whatever reason they fall by the wayside because they didn't have the proper guidance. It's the same thing with the quarterbacks, man. That's why it burns my biscuits when I hear people talk about, Belichick wasn't nothing without Tom Brady. Now, even though Belichick has had some tough seasons in his career as of late, still Tom Brady was not the guy that he was if Bill Belichick doesn't teach him about the game of football. So I think there's a certain amount of respect that goes with that.
Absolutely.
And that's basically what Andy has done, in my opinion, when you talk about Patrick Mahomes. When Andy moved up to draft Patrick Mahomes, people thought he was crazy. They thought he was crazy because he already had a quarterback. He had Alex Smith.
I know I did.
Yes.
I thought he got I thought, who is this guy?
It's funny how, the story narrative always changes once you see how good a person is, because Andy got a lot of heat because he sat that first year. It was one of those rare moments where quarterbacks said, I think it was him. The only quarterback that's have sat in the last couple of years was him and Jordan Love.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, where Aaron Rodgers, it's not like when you think about the NFL. It's not a whole lot of guys that have sat a whole lot. So Andy drafted.
Jalen sat. But
I'm talking about the first the high pick guys.
Yeah.
That sit, because normally there's so much pressure to play quarterback in the NFL, you don't have time to sit. So they sat. And then Patrick Mahomes became the guy that he is, and now people want to try to separate the two. Andy didn't see that greatness in him and drafted him. So, I think that's what it was, learning from the mistakes and just evolving as a coach.
It's funny that you bring that up, because in one of our early shows this summer, our guest was Mike Mayock. I don't know if you know Mike.
Yeah, I know Mike, yeah.
Mike was the general manager of the Las Vegas Raiders, and he's been around the league. And one of the things that Mike said was, when he scouted Patrick Mahomes, he was wary of him because, and this is going to surprise a lot of people, because he threw too many interceptions at Texas Tech.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to see something in somebody that nobody else sees, the intangibles. And Andy took a chance. And there was a lull in Patrick Mahomes' career early on where, people talking about, they figured him out. They know what type of quarterback he is. And he fought through that. And even this year, when they got off to that rough start and they had those young receivers, the one thing that I remember about when I talked to Coach Reed and we talked about that young offense, he was like, he didn't panic. That was the one thing that I do remember from the conversation that we had. He said they're going to get better. That rewind to last year when they had those young corners out there playing the same situation. And he was like, hey, they're going to get better. And they did. So you have to have pay. Like the one thing that's unfortunate in the NFL is that you still have to have some kind of patience when it comes to some of these young players.
You're right.
And when you talk about what the Kansas City Chiefs have been able to do, they've been patient with their young players and they've been able to groom them, and it's paid them huge benefits or dividends at this time of the year.
Hugh, I thought they were in deep trouble when they let go of Tyree.
Yes,
Hill.
Everybody did. And Rasheed Rice has turned out to be a pretty darn good receiver,
he's
but
terrific.
early on.
But you give up a Tyreek Hill. I still think he's the most dangerous receiver in
no
football.
question about it. But to have a quarterback of that caliber and to believe in those young guys that they have, like I said, Rasheed Rice has become that guy now.
Yeah.
But think about it when we played him. And balls were being dropped all over the place.
Yeah.
And look at them now. And so it's just, you got to believe in these kids.
Yep. Let's take a break.
We will take a break, and we'll be back with Hugh Douglas right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. Nobody does Flyers and Sixers watch parties better than Chickies and Pete's. Come for the best in-game experience and join the best fans in the world for all the hockey and basketball action. Enjoy all your Chicky and Pete's game day favorites with daily ice-cold draft beer specials and our seasonal cocktails. And, of course, the unbeatable combination of Philly sports and Chickies and Pete's world-famous crab fries. It's game time only at Chickies and Pete's.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, proven.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
At Penn Community Bank, we're not just your bankers, we're your neighbors. That comes in handy when you're purchasing your first place, refinancing an existing mortgage, buying a second home or investment property, or looking to tap into your home's equity. Whatever your situation, we pair the latest products, services, and technology that you need with the experienced banking professionals you want. Visit penncommunitybank.com or stop by your local branch to find out how we can make your family's growth personal. Penn Community Bank. Here we are and here we grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Bringing in your front line is as easy as 1, 2, key. SEPTA Key Advantage is a unique and valuable transit benefit program that gives your employees all-day, everyday access to the entire SEPTA system. That means your staff can get in for their first, second, or third shifts and even travel the system on their off hours, seamlessly and affordably, all thanks to you. Learn how easy it is to customize a SEPTA Key Advantage program for your team at SEPTA.org/partner programs. That's SEPTA.org/partner programs.
Hi, it's Merrill. Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa is here to help you distress after the game. Visit them to restore, relax, or refresh with a much-needed massage or facial for an introductory price starting at just $79.95. They offer an abundance of facial and massage services. Visit any one of their 60 spas in Delaware, South Jersey, and Philadelphia, including the Lehigh Valley, or go to handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details. Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs. A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here's your host, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And you are listening to Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and seen live on YouTube by searching WBCB Sports. Hugh, I think you and Joe brought something up, or it could have been Joe DeCamera, and it could have been even after that with Ike. But one of the things they threw up is, what do you think would have happened if the Eagles hadn't let go of Andy Reid after the 2012
season?
That
was Joe. Yeah.
Was that Joe DeCamera?
Yeah, that was Joe Gilliam.
Joe Gilliam. Okay, yeah, it was Joe in your show.
Yeah, it was Joe, yeah.
Okay, and I have thought about that. What was your conclusion?
My conclusion was Coach had to go. Because I think that he got to a point where the message has gotten stale, and it was time to move on. There was a lot going on in Coach Reid's personal life around that time. And I think that he became a better coach because, number one, it gives you a chance to reflect on some of the decisions that you made as a head coach. And it also just gives you a chance to get away from it and say, okay, maybe I should have did this a little bit better, or maybe I should have done that. So, yeah, I think it was one of those things where if he would have stayed, it probably would have stunted his growth as a football coach.
Yeah. I thought he went off as you say, off the rails when he was upset that Joe Banner got rid of Sean McDermott. So what he did is he took his offensive line coach, Juan Castillo,
that was wild,
and anointed him defensive coordinator, which was nuts.
Yeah.
I think a coach has a shelf life.
Yeah.
And I think it was better for Andy Reid, and even though they made a mistake with Chip Kelly, better for the Eagles to move on.
Yeah, it was. It's funny because at that time I was at ESPN, and I remember talking to Jaws because I was a little bit upset about the fact that Coach Reid was going to be fired. And Jaws told me, hey, man, everybody get fired. He said, it's one of those things. It was time for him to go. And he was right. It was time for Coach to go. And I think he's learned from that. There are some things that he's done in this past. You look at me like, damn, Coach, why you do that? So you have to learn from those mistakes. You have to make those mistakes in order to learn from them.
What was your reaction to this Eagles season and the way it became unwound?
My reaction was, what happened? And to be honest, Merrill, I still don't think we actually know what happened in that locker room. As well as I do, that locker room was a tight-knit group of individuals. And as much as we want to talk about this, that there were things that leaked out that nobody can corroborate. So it's hard to say because there was one rumor that Jalen wasn't the leader that he needed to be. Then there was one rumor that just came out that Coach Desai didn't have the respect of the guys in the locker room. So I don't really know what happened, but whatever it was, it feels like the guys started going off and doing their own thing and being renegade. You can't have that. You can't have that at any level. And we have two new coordinators now. I think that, as far as what the team is and everything, as far as the locker room chemistry, I don't know if that's fixed yet. I don't know. I don't have anything to back that up with, but it does not feel like that is the issue that has been taken care of. Hopefully, with time off and people just having a hard reset, we can get that rectified, but I don't know what the problem was.
Yeah, there's no way that can be cured, I mean, we're going to have to wait until the new coaches implement their programs.
Yeah.
The new coordinators. But until we know who's coming back, too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a bunch of new faces in there.
Yeah, because you hear that, like I heard stories that there was a mutiny among the old heads about the way Coach Desai ran things. And if that's the case, if that is the case, then I feel like in order to have success on the defensive side of the ball, you might have to move on from some of those old guys. It's one of those things where I used to like to call it like prison rules. You know, when you go to jail, if you want to be the big dog on campus, you got to take somebody's piece of chicken. So if you want to be the big dog, and if Vic Fangio wants to come in here, he wants to implement his defense, then you got to pick the fight with the biggest cat on the yard and make an example out of it.
See, I had heard the exact opposite. I had heard that when Nick Sirianni went in, and he said it was his decision to change coordinators. They didn't change titles, but they changed coordinators and replaced Desai with Matt Patricia, that things really went south then. Because guys had to change what they were doing, and there was confusion.
Yeah, see, I don't know. And that's the thing. I don't know, because there's so many different stories coming out of the locker room that the only way you could know the truth is if you were in the locker room. So that's why I'm like, whatever the situation was, we have a new defensive coordinator. He's going to come in here with his philosophy. And my thought is this, just like when Coach Reed came in here and guys started to fall by the wayside, the guys that weren't buying into what he was selling, it's probably going to be the same thing when Coach Fangio comes in here and Coach Goober, what's his name, Kellen Moore. I just call him a Goober because he's a Dallas Cowboy guy until he puts that Eagles gear on. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think Kellen Moore is very bright.
No, I think he is too, but he's a Dallas Cowboy, though. He's still a Cowboy.
Well, he was.
Yeah.
He was, but he was also a Boise State All-American, and he was also a Detroit Lion.
What did the Eagles ever get from Dallas that worked out, Merrill? Chris Bonial?
Hey, wait a minute. That was my teammate for a little while.
I liked him. He was a nice guy.
Wait a minute.
Did it work out?
Roger Ruzak worked out.
Okay, Roger Ruzak. Yeah, okay. That's about it.
We're talking kickers. That's about it. But if you talk to the Dallas Cowboys, or if you see what C.D. Lamb said, these wide receivers are going to love playing for Kellen Moore.
Yeah, and I hope that's the case, because we got a young quarterback that I feel like, in order to make this thing go, because let's be honest, all the resources on the offensive side of the ball, and in order for this thing to get fixed, that's going to be the quickest fix. We got to get that offense going. We got to get our quarterback head right, and we got to figure out how we can make everybody coexist with one another.
Happy. Make them happy.
We need a cohesive.
How do you make everyone happy?
Money.
You had the good fortune to play for one of the greatest coaches I've ever been around, and I believe coordinators should be admitted to the Hall of Fame. And you played for Jim Johnson.
Yes.
What made him so special?
Well, Jim, to me, he made the defense simple. And Jim always adjusted. There were times where, like, say, we would run the defense and I would go rogue and do my own thing within the defense.
You would do that?
No, all the time. And Jim would kind of cater to my natural instincts. It was one play, I forgot what it was called, but we were supposed to run a stunt. But the way the tackle was blocking, I would always run underneath the play and make the play. And so Jim would be at the meeting, and he was like, he never would call me out. He was like, yeah, the defensive end is not running the play right. Mm-hmm. So, we got to figure this out. We got to figure out how to get this right. And so one day he said, we're just going to change it. We're just going to change it. He called it the wing stunt. He said, we're just going to call it because it's like, it just fits better, whatever. And I remember Brandon Whiting said, yeah, because Hugh keep effing up the defense. So, yeah, he was good about putting the players that he had in positions to be successful.
Playing to their strengths, right?
Yes, and I think that's important. I think you have to do that when you have – and to be honest, Merrill, early on, I felt like Coach Desai was doing that, regardless of what was coming out, because
he's a bright guy.
Even though this defense was not as dynamic as the defense the year before, they looked like they were more comfortable in what they were being asked to do, and they went out and did it. And when Coach Patricia took over, it just looked like the Keystone Cops back there. It was totally different. So I don't know. Again, I don't know what the situation was. Like I said, the story came out where, some of the guys didn't believe in Coach Desai's confidence or whatever. So I don't know what the situation was.
We'll be back with Hugh Douglas right after this.
Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. Here's a winner, fall football, and Chickies and Pete's mouth-watering snow crab legs. For a limited time, buy one and get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday. Enjoy the sweet, delicate flavor of snowy white crab meat dressed in our special blend of seasonings and spices. Pair it with an ice-cold draft beer or one of our signature cocktails. Buy one and get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday for a limited time. Restrictions apply. Chickies and Pete's.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. And here's the pitch. BCWSA water and sewer customers, you have a new and improved option to pay your bill that's convenient, reliable, and secure. Powered by Invoice Cloud, you can pay your bill 24/7 online, pay by text or phone, or sign up for AutoPay to avoid fees for late or missed payments. Visit bcwsa.net to sign up or for more info. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side.
At Penn Community Bank, we're not just your bankers, we're your neighbors. That comes in handy when you're purchasing your first place, refinancing an existing mortgage, buying a second home or investment property, or looking to tap into your home's equity. Whatever your situation, we pair the latest products, services, and technology that you need with the experienced banking professionals you want. Visit penncommunitybank.com or stop by your local branch to find out how we can make your family's growth personal. Penn Community Bank. Here we are and here we grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, it's Merrill. Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa is here to help you distress after the game. Visit them to restore, relax, or refresh with a much-needed massage or facial for an introductory price starting at just $79.95. They offer an abundance of facial and massage services. Visit any one of their 60 spas in Delaware, South Jersey, and Philadelphia, including the Lehigh Valley, or go to handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details. Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs. A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here's your host, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And it is now time for this week's injury review, of which there is none, brought to you by the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio. Begley, Carlin, and Mandio. Contact them today for a free consultation at 215-806-3689, 215-806-3689. That's Begley, Carlin, and Mandio. Hugh Douglas is our guest. Hugh, nobody is more knowledgeable and more capable of giving us an honest assessment of, number one, where they are right now, and number two, what you project for two players, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter.
I like Jordan Davis. I think that a lot of people look at him, especially from the position that he was drafted in, and they're asking him to
First
be something.
round.
Yeah, I think 16th pick or something like that. And they're asking him to be something that he's not, because when you think about a person that's drafted that high, they want him to be a pass rusher or like a big, guy that gets after the quarterback. That's not what he is. He's a run stuffer. Now, I know that there's been some reports out there talking about how he gained a little bit of weight and his game kind of curtailed off. He just needs to become more of a professional in that sense. And I think that having the new line coach here, Coach Hurts, the big fella from Seattle, that's probably going to help him out a lot. Jalen Carter, you saw that. You're talking about two young men that I had the pleasure of watching play in Georgia.
That's right.
Where they two platooned a lot. Jordan was exposed in that first Alabama game when they won the first championship because they couldn't get off the field, and Coach Saban left them in a position where they couldn't rotate, because they do a lot of rotating because they have so many players that they could do that, and they just keep them going. So he was caught out there a little bit. But that second game, when they actually won the national championship game, they played a lot better, and he played a lot more physical. I think that in order for Jordan Davis to be successful in this league, I think he had a good start last year. He just has to remain consistent. Got to push away from the training table a little bit and just keep his weight down, maintain his weight, and make sure that he's doing everything that he needs to do to be a professional at this level. I think a lot of kids don't realize that once you're in the season, this job now in the NFL is an all-year-round job, and you have to treat it as such. So that means you have to take care of your body so that way when you are in the off-season, you don't get too far away from what it is to get ready for the season. So I think that he has to realize that, and once he does that, he'll be a lot better. Jalen Carter, the same thing. Just a young rookie, hit the rookie wall. I think he shows a lot of smart kid. Like when he almost caught that fumble when they tried to spike him.
Oh, yeah,
I thought that was a pretty smart play on his side. So I like both of those guys. I think you got two cornerstone D tackles. You put some talent around them, I think they're going to be okay.
Hey, speaking of losing weight, and I'm just jogging back to your views on talk radio, this Joel Embiid thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know this isn't Eagles talk, but what about him losing weight? He's like he probably plays at around 290. No, I'm well
on this football show. You're worried about Joel Embiid.
But he probably plays at around 290. What if he dropped down to like Tim Duncan did?
You mean to help his weight out a little bit, to
Absolutely.
help his knees out? That might be something that he could do. But I tell you what, man, as a guy,
has that been a topic on your show? Or
no? We talked about his size. I'll tell you what, like as a guy who had trouble and still has trouble maintaining his weight, you have to be very careful in how you eat and everything, and you have to you just have to know. And I think that in order to be in the shape that he needs to be in, that might help him out. But from what I've heard, like when he has time, like he just had the surgery. So what's probably going to be a detriment to him is that he's not going to be able to work out for a while. So he has a tendency to get fluffy. But you just have to watch what you eat, man. It's hard to do. But in order for you to be ready to go, you have to watch what you got to count calories and do all kind of stuff like that.
Guys have done that, and
man, it's
their
hard,
careers
man. I tell you what, and now, like for me, the biggest struggle that I'm having is Girl Scout cookie season, and boy, they be coming through with them Girl Scout cookies, and like I like the patronage of the Girl Scouts. Like you got to get the kids. This a hustle, so I buy the cookies, but I usually just give them away.
See, it's not as tough if you're Jordan Mailata because he's 6'7" and. Really, he can use a lot of weight.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, even Jordan got to watch what he eat every now and then, man. You don't want to be the big dude out there looking all gooey. You can't be looking all like sloppy fat.
Yeah.
Like, and Jordan's a big dude. He's not sloppy, but I'm just saying, man, it's just this time of year is kind of rough with them Girl Scout cookies running around. So if anybody got them Girl Scout cookies out there, call me at the station.
Where do you expect this team to go in free agency and in the draft?
For me personally, Merrill, I think that with so many resources allocated to the offensive side of the ball, I know there's some money involved in all of these players that I'm talking about getting rid of. But if it's me, I am taking those 9 draft picks, and I'm drafting at least 7 defenders on the other side of the ball. Maybe I'll get a running back or something like that. But Merrill, I'm drafting 7 defenders, and I'm going to play with those young guys because, everybody's talking about going out and trading for Patrick Surtain and things of that nature. I think one of the problems that we have here as an organization with the Eagles, we don't do a good job of cultivating the plants that we have. Since Coach Sirianni likes to use metaphors about, plants and stuff.
Yeah.
I think we need to cultivate the talent that we already have. Like, there's a guy that I'm extremely high on. Didn't get a chance to see him play a whole lot, but Keely Ringo, I think there's something there if you allow him the opportunity to play. And I also feel like in Coach Fangio's defense that the corners are going to factor big in the run game. And I think that, and again, I understand that there's some monetary value involved with this, but I think that the corners that you have, what you're going to ask them to do, they're not going to be able to do. And that's come play tough in the run game and be a part of the run support. I don't think they're going to do that. Slay's a good player, still a good player, and I think that somebody's going to want him. But when you're asking him to come up and be that hammer in the run game, I don't think he's going to do that. I really
Interesting.
don't.
How about Nakobe Dean? Do you think that
I like
it's too
Nakobe
early
Dean.
to judge him? You saw him at Georgia.
Can't make the club in the tub, man.
No, you can't.
That's the unfortunate thing about it. I like Nakobe Dean a lot. Talked to him a lot this year as a young cat, trying to get him to keep his head up.
He's smart.
Very, very smart player, but you have to stay healthy. Your biggest asset at this level is your availability, and so far he has not been available for this team. And we're in a somewhat of a pickle. We have our offense that's gonna, we hope that's gonna get back on track, but we need some dependable defensive players. And right now, I mean, he's gonna be in the mix. But Nakobe Dean, I can't depend on him right now. That's the truth.
You saw Nolan Smith at Georgia.
Yes.
Is he lost in space, or will he come on this second year and be a different player?
I hope so. I hope somebody teaches Nolan Smith how to tackle a little bit better. It was a couple times I watched him coming in. He's a very fast guy. Very fast.
He overruns plays, doesn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
and he tackles in a way where he hurts himself. He needs to do a better job. Somebody needs to teach him how to tackle and how to run more control. He hasn't been doing that, but I think that there's something there. People talk about his size. It's guys that are about his size that can play in space. I think him and Micah Parsons isn't the biggest guy out there.
You weren't the biggest guy.
No, so it's ways that you can use him. You just have to be smart about it. But you have to do a better job, in my opinion, of coaching these young cats up.
I think Sidney Brown's going to come on.
Yeah, I like him too. Another guy. Got a lot of talent. Needs to control that just a little bit more. Kind of wild out there, but he's a hitter. He likes to play aggressive. But you have to be somewhat of a controlled aggressor.
Okay, we'll get Hugh's views on Super Bowl 58 right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, your home away from home for the pro football playoffs. Nobody does playoff watch parties better than Chickies and Pete's. Come for the best in-game experience and join the best fans in the world for the playoffs. Enjoy all your Chicky and Pete's game day favorites with daily ice-cold draft beer specials and our seasonal cocktails. Plus the unbeatable combination of playoff football and Chicky and Pete's world-famous crab fries. It's game time, only at Chickies and Pete's.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, prove it.
Hi, it's Merrill. Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa is here to help you distress after the game. Visit them to restore, relax, or refresh with a much-needed massage or facial for an introductory price starting at just $79.95. They offer an abundance of facial and massage services. Visit any one of their 60 spas in Delaware, South Jersey, and Philadelphia, including the Lehigh Valley, or go to handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here's your host, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
Hugh Douglas is our guest here at Chickies and Pete's in the Parks Casino. Hugh, Super Bowl 58
Super Bowl
is upon us. What do you see?
I'm not rooting for the 49ers. That's for darn sure, Merrill. I like Kansas City. The last time when they were in Baltimore, people were talking about Baltimore Ravens. You can't bet against Andy and Patrick Mahomes in this situation. Even when they seem like they're down, they always figure out a way to win games like this. And even last year, when you look at how well that Eagles defense played in the first half, and then in the second half when Patrick Mahomes hurt you with his legs, I think the Kansas City Chiefs have too many weapons, and they got weapons that are coming around at the right time.
That was a great coaching job too in that
Yes,
second
it was.
half. It's
Yes,
like
it
they had
was.
two different game plans.
Yes,
the
it
Chiefs
was,
did,
man.
so.
And Spags' defense is playing right now, and they really, really like playing for Coach Spags. It's shades of Jim Johnson defense, obviously, because Spags was here. So I like Kansas City in this situation. And plus, do you really want the 49ers to win? Because they were the catalyst to our season kind of falling apart.
They provided the template.
Yeah, man.
And everybody bounced on.
And they crying about the field out there and everything. Yeah, I want the 49. I don't want the 40 whiners.
They assaulted Dom on the sideline.
Yeah. Got Dom took off the sideline. He's back. Well, Dom, hopefully he's back this year, huh?
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, he's back.
Well, he
this
was
year.
back for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I think all those reasons, that's why the 49ers are going to that's why they're going to win.
Did you think so?
I got a bad feeling about this game.
He has a bad feeling about everything. Ignore him. When you talk about what Andy has done with this team, it boggles my mind that I sat there at Arrowhead Stadium on a rainy Monday night and watched the Eagles come from a 10-point deficit to beat that team.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Man, their receivers did not help us.
Marquez, Scanlon, Valdez, whatever.
No, I'm telling you, their receivers must have been playing for the Eagles that night, because that's the only way that happened, man.
Yeah.
And you look at that, and it's amazing how that's the tale of two seasons, because it's another team that we played not too long after that, the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
And we had them on the ropes. Had to come back and beat them, and their season took off, and ours just went the other direction. It's just weird how those things happen. That's why I hope, and I got my fingers crossed, that we have gotten all these problems solved and that we can come into this next season, especially with the season starting in Brazil, and just get ready for some good Eagles football, man. And hopefully we'll be talking about us in this same situation.
Well, Brazil, that's all they need, Merrill. All they need is Brazil.
I hope you're right. I still remember in that game a 10-yard pass for a first down over the middle into the hands of Travis Kelce, and he dropped it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's dropped anything since.
No, he had a phase where they were talking about, they were kind of blaming it on his girlfriend.
Yeah, she didn't make it to that game.
Yeah, she wasn't at that game.
Yeah, so they kind of blamed it on that, man. But lately, like, you talk about getting hot at the right time.
Oh my God,
Kansas City Chiefs hot at the right time.
The other one who had a subpar season, but has turned it on the minute they yelled playoffs, is Chris Jones.
Man, I tell you, isn't it great to have that kind of caliber of player that, you could be one of those guys that isn't heard from all season long, and then all of a sudden, as soon as the playoffs come around, you're a different guy.
Mr. October, or Mr. February, or whatever.
Beautiful thing to be, man. Beautiful thing.
But that's what that team does.
Yeah.
That's what that team does.
And you know what it is? It's part of the philosophy that Coach Reed has. You know, always come off historically to a slow start, and they always gain the momentum that they need during this time of the year.
They're going to be missing.
MO.
They're going to be missing this pass rusher. How do you pronounce his name? Charles Menahu.
Yeah, the guy.
He's out. Yeah. Torn ACL.
Yeah, they're going to miss him. But boy, I tell you, Spag's going to have something dialed up for him. Yeah. Definitely going to have that.
Well, you played under Spag.
Yeah.
But I think he was just the linebacker coach.
He was the linebackers
right?
coach then. He think he was working with the secondary too as well. That's what he was. But when I watch them blitz and watch some of the things that they do, it's definitely reminiscent of what Jim Johnson liked to do.
Yeah.
Definitely. They bring a lot of that
again, Jim taught Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
And then the Eagles fired Sean McDermott, and he worked for Ron Rivera in Carolina, and then became the head coach of the Bills.
Yeah, so Big Red got a little bit of a coaching tree now. Andy Reid got a little bit of a coaching tree. Good job.
Why hasn't somebody picked up Ron Rivera? I think he's a good coach.
I think that with the –
I mean, even as a coordinator.
I think the 2 seasons that he's had, you know, with Carolina and then going to Washington, I mean, the track record, he hasn't been winning a lot. And I think it's a good thing, too, Merrill, because now with this new cycle, you get to see some other coaches get a chance to be head coaches now. It used to be a time where head coaches were recycled. You lose one job, you go get a job somewhere else. So I think it's good that you have a little bit of fresh blood in the NFL.
You think Spags will ever get a chance to be a head coach again?
Honestly,
he didn't do well
I don't think Spags wants to.
Yeah, he was 1-15 in St. Louis.
Yeah, I think he likes where he is now, and where everybody's not built to be a head coach. So I think Spags is kind of happy where he is right now.
But you know what shocks me? That Bill Belichick didn't land a head coaching job.
That doesn't shock me.
Why?
Bill, and that's no disrespect to our, to
me or Merrill. Yeah.
No, I'm saying, but when you talk about the message that you're trying to relate to younger guys, I feel like with Bill Belichick, like a lot of teams looked at that and were like, you know, his message is probably a little stale, because you see a lot of young coaches have been hired in this coaching cycle.
Yeah.
And you talk about a lot of young coordinators. Like Vic Fangio probably was the oldest cat that was hired.
Yeah, he might be.
You know what I mean?
Bill Callahan, his son, is coaching Tennessee, and he's going to coach the offensive line.
Think about it like that, Merrill. Like
Tennessee.
Everybody's going younger because we have to figure out a way to connect with these younger players.
Yeah, but here's the mistake I think people make. They pick up these coordinators, these young coordinators, but they don't really know what they're like. I mean, because you're a genius. The smartest coach I've ever met in my life was Bud Carson, who was the architect of the Steel Curtain. Yet he was not set up to be a head coach.
Yeah.
He looked like a Princeton literary professor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's to me, a head coach has to be dynamic. He has to be authoritative. He has to be a leader and a culture setter. And that may not be one of these brilliant coordinators.
And you know what's funny about that, too, I think now all those intangibles are great, but I think now with these young kids, you have to figure out their why, and you have to figure out how to connect with them. Because think about it. You got social media is big. You got guys that tweet and go on Insta stories.
He's right.
At halftime.
You got to be a texter.
Yeah, but you can't have it.
You got guys that do that now.
You can't have Kenneth Gainwell texting at halftime.
Yeah, I didn't say nobody's name.
Well, I did.
I'm saying, but that's the world that we live in.
Yeah.
And social media is a big part of that. And a lot of these guys, you know, it's when I played way back when we wore leather helmets. It was your
Did they have cell phones back then?
Yeah, they did, but they didn't have the.
Were they the bag phones?
We had the beepers, the sky.
Beepers,
and the sidekicks. We had the sidekicks and stuff like that. All but right. you have to figure out what motivates these young men. You know, because everybody has a podcast now. Everybody has a brand that they're trying to build. So you have to try to figure out how you could get this player to do all of this and still play for you on Sunday.
But Hugh, aren't $50 million a year contracts enough?
No, man, not when you talking about. I ain't never heard that word enough. Not when you talk about where there's money to be had. When you talk about the fact that you got Jason Kelce doing the New Heights podcast and probably blowing it out of the water.
Yeah.
And then he's in a situation. But God bless Jason Kelce, because he's in a situation right now where he can either play football and make tons of millions, or he can go do television and do his podcast
and make
tons of millions.
You're right,
you know what I mean?
You're right.
So, you got to take advantage of the situation while you can.
Yep. But you have Patrick Mahomes, who is on every other television commercial.
And Travis Kelce.
And Andy Reid.
I am not mad at him. And Andy Reid talking about nuggies. The nuggies. Yeah.
Chefs.
You know what's funny? When we went to Kansas City, I went down and I had a chance to see Coach Reid. Do you know Coach Reid drives a T-Rex, a pickup truck that's really, really fast?
I did not know that.
And when I was talking about, I was like, Big Red, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, Big Red used to drive an Escalade, the old grandpa car. He drives a pickup truck that probably has 700 horsepower. And I'm like, Coach, what are you doing? Yes, and he was like, yeah, Hugh, have you ever ridden in it? It's so fast. And I'm like, dog, I was just laughing. But you gotta be able to relate to your players.
Yeah.
And when you walk through the parking lot of Kansas City, everybody else had a truck. And Big Red's truck, he had a big black one. And I'm like, man.
You could hear that growl a block away,
man, I'm telling you, I was jealous. Because I just drive a regular Ram.
Now, wait a minute.
Big Red
He's got like 10.
Now, wait a minute.
He's got 10
now, wait a minute. One of the saddest moments I ever had in my life, being a sports car lover, was listening to Angelo Cataldi one morning, and you were driving in, and you bottomed out and wrecked your Ferrari.
Yeah, that was a bad day. There was a lot of behind that story. We just gonna leave that like that right there where
I
it was.
was so sad.
Yeah.
I said, you wrecked the Ferrari.
Yeah, that was in my younger days. We've grown a lot since then. We've matured a lot. We don't make those we don't take those penitentiary chances anymore. We make better decisions as an older gentleman. We make much better decisions.
You wouldn't like to have that Ferrari back?
No, we're good. We like to drive pickup trucks and Cadillacs now. We like to keep it a little bit more conservative.
Okay.
We're a little bit more conservative.
All right. That sounds good to me. All right. Your final pick for the Super Bowl.
Kansas City all day. I would say it's probably going to be a close game. 21-17?
That close.
Yeah. It sounds like it's going to be pretty close. Yeah.
All right.
I got a bad
Bobby?
feeling about this game. I'm going to have to take the Niners.
You are going to take the Niners.
Yeah.
Well, you have been wrong all season.
By 2 points. 21-19, something like that.
Listen, you were around. You know what Shanahan did when Atlanta was.
28-3. Yeah, he what they call pooped the bed.
But he did something like that.
I don't know. This is a family show. I don't want to be using no cuss words.
Okay,
on here,
all right. Well, listen, we are out of time. I want to thank Chris Irmer, who has done a wonderful job as our technical director, our executive producer, George Forster, PGA, Hugh Douglas. I want to tell you something. Mention to Joe Giglio tomorrow that I think he's got the easiest job in the world. All he has to do is say, hello, Hugh, and he can sleep for the next 4 hours.
Yeah, that's my guy. No, Joe does a great job, man.
He does. He really does.
Job.
Thank you. You're a great friend. We thank you for joining us tonight. Bobby, great job. Our final show of the year. Thank all of you for joining us. Good night, everyone.
Peace. My man, thank you.
You're listening to 1490 WBCB, Levittown, Fairless Hills, Trenton, and now heard as well on FM at 107.3 FM, W297CL, Levittown.